Let me get my chat window open. Just refresh the page. We're good now. We're good. I don't know what happened there. I was getting horrible connection for some reason. So just refresh the page. You should be fine. Sorry about that. I don't know how that happened or why it did, but it sure happened. I'm back for a little bit. I'm back for like 8 days, but I'm back. That's what the T-8 is. That's what the T-8 means. It means that I am here for 8 days, and then I leave for a month. I told you guys about my complex schedule a couple weeks ago. Like just now. Just now. Good choice. Pride and accomplishment. There's no pride and accomplishment in deorbiting. What? No, always prograde. That's my rule. Always prograde, never retrograde. I told you guys that this would be happening. That my schedule would be all whack, which it was. My schedule was all whack. I'm back for about 2 weeks. And after this, well, not 2 weeks, basically a week for you guys. I'm down here for 2 weeks, but you guys only see me for about a week. And then after that, I'm moving. I'm moving to a lot of different places, and I know, Sai, I'm just reminding the folks. I'm reminding you, too. Okay? Until, you know, yes, exactly. So, you guys get the idea. You guys get the idea. But I'll be around for a little bit, so I'm here for now. Sorry for moving around so much. Gotta do what I gotta do. I've got work to get done. I've got people to see. I've got things to learn. The most important part. I have things to learn. So we're gonna go over synodic periods today. Which synodic periods represent the period in between two celestial bodies or two objects rotating one central source. Nah, I've evaded the cops plenty of times. No, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't say that. I am a good citizen. I don't do things like that. Alright, let me put on music that will not mute the VOD. Good. So, 8 days of fun is what you're about to see coming up. You're about to see 8 days of excellent fun. No biology. What, you don't want biology? Hey, me and Nick Saga and I are starting up a primary literature club. Which means that you are going to see some biology on my channel, so get used to it and keep learning. I don't care how tired you are of learning, Sai, you're going to keep learning. Never stop. Don't stop learning. That's just... well, that's counterproductive. The only way to do something is by learning it, and inherently, by that definition, if you are doing something, then you are learning. Which means that if you aren't learning, then you're doing nothing. Do you want to be known as the guy that does nothing? So, just keep in mind, you need to always be learning. I'm gonna paint some happy trees. Well, considering my artistic skill is slowly degrading over time, that might be what you see. Depending on how these synodic periods end up looking on the tablet, I don't know. Am I known as the guy that does nothing? Not if you're learning. Gotta keep learning, me-hi. Me-hi, you-hi, we-hi, he, she, they, hi. Just keep learning. Make me say it again, because you know I will. I'm gonna assume sound is okay for you guys. Deorbiting is nothing? No, that's not true. Deorbiting is something. That's an act. What do you mean? That's something. That's totally something. You can't check the oil in your car? I learned how! No, so here's the thing. Sai, my dad wanted to know if I had to change the oil in my car before he drives down here, well, or flies down here, because he's flying down to Huntsville from Pennsylvania. We're gonna pack all the things in the car, and then we're gonna drive our car from Huntsville to Pennsylvania. He wanted to know if I needed to replace the oil in the vehicle before we drove all the way back up. It's a 13-14 hour drive. What I thought he meant was check how much oil is in the car. So I got out my dipstick and I checked. I'm like, oh, we're at a completely fine level. And then he called me. He's like, no, he just called me. That's why I had to leave. He just called me. He's like, no, I mean, check the quality of the oil, which apparently you can do right on your dashboard now with the Jeep I have. I've got a Jeep Grand Cherokee 2017, and it's just an option behind the steering wheel on your dashboard. And it was really simple. I just went over, looked at the oil life. The oil life was at like 6%. I drastically needed a change in oil. So now I'm gonna have to get that done before I leave too. Which I don't know how to do by myself. So I'm gonna have to go someplace and get that done. So synodic periods are the relative periods of two individual planets. And here's what a synodic period is. Oh, that's how you end up with the matrix? Nah. Synodic periods. Okay, synodic periods and transfer windows. So a few updates for you folks. I got a new keyboard too. It's a Razer. It's a Razer Ornata, I believe it's called. A Razer Ornata. Razer, not a tutorial. I want a Razer Ornata. And it's not the chroma, it's just the original. We knew when to change the oil by the color. Totally know how to do that. I just have the green one. I've got this one right here. This is the keyboard I'm working with now. She's a fancy hunk of metal. Oh, she's plastic now. I guess they're all plastic. She's nice though. She's been treating me real well for the short period of time we've gotten to know each other. You adjust the volume. Okay, so anyway. There was something I wanted to do. Oh. Wacom tablet properties. Now this one is going to be tablet applications on screen controls. What? What is this, dude? Keyboard undo, and this one is going to be redo, and this is going to be delete. Right? Tablet navigation. Oh, I guess I can't really do that. Okay. Okay, so undo and redo are set. Sorry, thank you. A DOS keyboard, nice. You still have your first car. I don't have my first car. Sai, I am not your age. Correct. Ah, not yet. Not yet, but I will be. It's probably time to change it. Man, I don't know. What if I enjoy the thicker taste of Jägermeister? That's what I should. Why would I throw my oil away when I can just drink it? Ah. Dads are awesome for that kind of thing. You just give them their old technology. You're like, here, take it. And they're like, oh, okay, fine, I'll use it. All right, so okay, we're good. Now I need something a little bit thicker so I can see. So we're gonna go over synodic periods. Oh, also, cheers, everybody. Again, it's gonna be 7 fun days. That's the plan. Maybe I'll throw on some classical music. No, I can't do that. I still might get, I don't know Twitch's rules with playing classical music on stream, unfortunately. 7 days of fun. Yeah, 7 days of fun. It's gonna be the first day of fun. So here's the whole purpose of why we need synodic periods and why we calculate them. We've got this big, massive, approximate black body radiator creating fusion and heat and energy and explosions and all this cool stuff at the center of our solar system. Get my Jaeger and Red Bull? Yes, Novus. Do it. Do it, man. That's the only way to spend a Monday. And yes, I don't want to put anything on that Twitch would stop me from playing. So let's say you have one planet that is on the inside of another planet. So this is going to be our internal planet right here. And then we've got another planet that's in a higher, well, not higher technically because there's no orientation out here. That's in a larger orbit around the first planet out here, okay? And let's say that at time t0, these two planets are aligned with each other. Coffee for now, so got a few hours of work before me. Ooh. That's fine. So you've got another planet that has a larger semi-major axis. Let's just assume for now that these two planets are circular. Their orbits are circular, and hopefully the planets themselves are also spherical. So at time t0, these two planets are aligned. And let's look at a later time. At time t1, this planet, the internal planet, would maybe move 90 degrees. Maybe not exactly 90, it doesn't really matter. So at time t1, the internal planet is here. And obviously, I'm sure you guys know where I'm taking this. At time t1, the external planet is not quite as far as the internal planet, because your period, p squared, is proportional to a cubed. And if you don't know that relationship, then go watch all of the AERO101 videos. We've already went over this. I was sick to beer, thank you. Alright, Meg. I don't know. I've never had a bad experience with Jaeger. And if you don't know this relationship, then go watch my AERO101 videos, and I explain all of this. Anyway, so your period is proportional to a to the power of 3 halves, and obviously 3 halves is greater than 1.0, which means that as period will increase, semi-major axis also increases. As semi-major axis increases, period will also increase. Real world. All real world. Well, fake world, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, here's the cool part, right? So at time t0, these two planets are aligned. And right, so this is delta t, and then this is also delta t. And delta t they're the same. And then after delta t, we are off by a certain angle, right? So this angle, let's just call it beta. Aerospace cadets, welcome aboard, Bradley. Vote for Kerbal. No, this Jaeger's good, man. I've never had Jaeger straight though. So at that time, your two planets are off by an angle beta. Now you can imagine at some point in the future, these two planets will realign with each other. It's just that they're not going to realign right here at this location. They might realign out here, or they might realign out here, or they might realign out here. You don't know where these planets will realign. You don't have that information right off the bat. It's not necessarily intuitive just by looking at the orbits. As you can see, there's a weird relationship between semi-major axis and period. So, anyway. I have an affinity to flying. Flying is cool. Flying is cool, spaceflight is cool, science is cool, learning is cool. It's all cool. So, you've got... eventually, these two planets will obviously realign, as I said, but you don't necessarily know when that's going to happen, and that's why something was created called a synodic period. And here's the idea of synodic period. At time t0, these planets are aligned. Let's say at time t1, these planets are aligned again, okay? Then t1 minus t0, we're going to call that s, where s is equal to the synodic period. Simple. Simple, I hope. Okay, you're not gonna let me... Okay, that's really weird how you're making me do that, but... Could have sworn that page down worked for that. Okay. Whatever. So again, never again. You do put the nod in Synodic. You absolutely do. So Synodic period, you can sum it up like this: Synodic period. Time between successive, what's the best way to put this? The time between successive traverses, successive traversal of one planet, of one planet in inertial space. It's not just a planet, guys. It's one object, okay? One orbiting object. It's not even just orbiting. One orbiting object. I'm trying to put this in layman's terms. One orbiting object in inertial space viewed by another orbiting object. Viewed by another orbiting object. Let me make sure this makes sense. Okay, so Synodic period, time between successive traversal of one orbiting object in the sky with respect to another orbiting object. In inertial space is key. You need to fix your coordinate system. And again, if you don't know much about inertial frames or coordinate systems, go watch AERO101. All of that material is already available to you, and you can find that online as well. Deep space slingshots, yeah. Oh my goodness. Always want to set up these types of transfers in KSP. Well, now you can do it. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to do it right off the bat, but hopefully this will help you. Okay. Are you kidding me? I don't know why it's not letting me page down. That's beyond frustrating. Okay. Whatever. All right, so Synodic period. So how do we calculate a Synodic period, right? So we can look at it like this. This first planet. Well, again, let's draw this sun. Okay, the first planet is right here at time t0. Nice straight line. The second planet is out here at time t0. Okay. Let's call this, nah, let's not call it anything quite yet. Okay, this first planet has what's called an angular rate of omega-1. The second planet has what's called an angular rate of omega-2, okay? Omega-2. Now, Pluto, not quite Pluto, it's not that far out. I like to think the planet's relatively close. Okay, so omega is equal to angular rate. Angular rate. So it's the rate of an angle change. Okay, so it's just a star, Psi. It's just a star. Omega is an angular rate, which means it has units of an angle per time, right? So it can be, I pass 1 degree every hour. Yeah, it's to scale. This is inertial space. And what is commonly used for angular rates, and what you guys probably have seen before, is radians per second, or degrees per second. But I'm going to be using radians per second. A radian, most of you guys probably may already know. If you take this radius of the circle to be r, a radian is the angle traversed for this arc to also be equal to r. That's what a radian is. Radians to seconds are pretty easy because, well, you don't require any knowledge about the radius of the actual orbit or how far out the orbit is. Oh, also, I'm assuming all circular orbits. Keep that in mind. All circular orbits here. So, we're going to be expressing a lot of things in angular rates because it's pretty straightforward to do that. And it's common. You're going to see this a lot. So, we need to come up with some definition, right? For this angular rate. And there's a simple way to do it, and it's this. Omega 1 is equal to this. The first object will pass 2 pi radians, which is just the whole circle, in the amount of time it takes to do so, or the period, okay? Where p is equal to period. And again, we know period from the rule that I had just described above here. But, oh, come on, I didn't used to be this complex. So, it makes sense, right? We will traverse 2 pi radians in this amount of time. And this amount of time is the period of the object. So, 2 pi over the period. Makes sense, right? And then omega 2 is relatively similar. Oh, come on. Omega 2 is equal to 2 pi, the amount of time the second planet takes to rotate 2 pi radians in the planetary period. Alright, those are the angular rates of the 2 planets. It's relatively straightforward, hopefully. Hopefully I'm being clear. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. 2 sacrificial bodies? No, they're happy to give their lives for this cause. Alright, so... Guys, how's the sound? Is the sound okay? Realize that I didn't ask you guys. Hopefully the sound is okay. I keep changing my orientation of the microphone and... Well, I hope it's okay. That's all I'm gonna say. So, I'm following the logic. Okay, so now, the next thing that you could imagine... Mind you, you sound dreamy. Oh, sigh. You're too sweet. You know that? So the next thing you can imagine is the inner planet will rotate quicker than the outer planet. Boom. What a surprise, right? The inner planet will rotate quicker than the outer planet. That's an assumption. And if you don't understand why, then you can always take a look at this equation right here. Your semi-major axis, if your semi-major axis is smaller, your period will be smaller, which means it takes the planet less time to complete a successful rotation. So we've got this, and we know omega 1 is greater than omega 2. Okay, so here's what we need to find out. And we also know at t0. Oh, and the other thing we're going to do is this. We're going to define this angle right here to be alpha 1. And we're going to define this angle to be alpha 2. Okay? Eccentricity in the mix? Probably not today, Sai. Probably not today, man. Synodic periods don't necessarily have a definition when you're working with eccentric orbits. I mean, because if you think about it, the whole point of a synodic period is that the 2 planets will come back to exactly the same location. And one of those requirements is that they're in the orbital plane. And you can have a synodic period with orbits that are not in the orbital plane and that are not eccentric, but it would take millions and millions of years for them to come back to the same exact location. What you can also do is just assume that the planet is in a circular orbit for like a first cut assumption. I mean, that's what's done pretty common. In most cases for baseline interplanetary analysis. And let me go make sure my air conditioning is on before I get too hot. Oh, okay. This computer is like a space heater. Oh, it is on. Alright. Thought the heat was on, but no, just my PC. Okay, but all right. So you guys get the concept. At t0, seat height. Oh, I can't wait to get a new chair too. Yeah, guys. When I make my move in 8 days, I'm gonna get a new chair. I'm definitely getting a new chair, and I'm getting professional lighting too because I can't stand this lighting. So at t0, we know a few things. We know that alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2 is equal to 0. Alpha being the angle from these two individual planets from this respective reference line right here. Okay? That's what alpha 1 and alpha 2. So you can imagine alpha 1 increases at a faster rate than alpha 2. So at this point, they're equal. We also know this. We know alpha 1 is equal to the angular rate of the first planet multiplied by time. Do you guys get that? It's radians per second, and then you're multiplying by time, seconds. So the result of this is just going to be radians, which is an angle. So if you take your angular rate, radians per second, and if you multiply by the amount of time you've been rotating, then you're going to get an angle, okay? Nice, Bradley. So hopefully that makes sense. We also know that alpha 2 is equal to omega 2 multiplied by time. Here's what we want to know, okay? Again, it makes sense that alpha 1 is going to increase quicker than alpha 2, right? So what we want to know, yes they do, we want to know, the time, the specific time, delta t, which is some arbitrary time past t0, where alpha 1 minus alpha 2 is equal to 2 pi. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? We're waiting until, essentially what this equation is saying is that we're waiting until this laps the outer planet. It's essentially lapping the outer planet. That's what the Synodic period is. So we're waiting until the inner planet laps the outer period, and the mathematical representation of that is when alpha 1 minus alpha 2 is equal to 2 pi, because that means the inner planet will have rotated one entire extra time compared to the outer planet. Okay? Right, Sai? I'm getting pretty filthy with this. If you go back to AERO101, I had such difficulty using this pen, but I think I'm getting pretty good at it now. So that's what we're looking for. Alpha 1 minus alpha 2 is equal to 2 pi. If you guys have any questions, just let me know, because this is actually like a really simple concept, and it's really cool that we can calculate this kind of thing. So we want alpha 1 minus alpha 2 is equal to 2 pi. So let's just throw everything together, okay? We know this. We want alpha 1 minus alpha 2 is equal to 2 pi, okay? We also know that alpha 1 of the first planet is equal to omega 1 times time, and we know that alpha 2 of the second planet, that angle, is equal to omega 2 times time, or really delta t, but I'm just going to use time for now. I'm assuming t0 is 0. Minus omega 2t is equal to 2 pi, right? Does that make sense to you? Now check this out. We also know that omega 1 is equal to 2 pi over p1, and omega 2 is equal to 2 pi over p2, okay? Pretty cool stuff. So let's go like this. We also know that omega 1 is equal to 2 pi over p1, and we know that omega 2 is equal to 2 pi over p2, okay? And then we obviously have this time term, minus time, is equal to 2 pi. Okay, let's go ahead and let's take out that time. Let's simplify the equation a little bit. All right, so we got 2 pi over p1 minus 2 pi over p2. That entire quantity multiplied by time is equal to 2 pi. Okay, now let's assume something. Let's assume, let's call t, which is just equal to delta t, which is equal to t minus t0. I know that was horrible definitions, but sorry. Let's call this, let's call it just s. Okay, s. S units is just in seconds, okay? We're just changing the variable. We're not doing anything to the equation. We're just changing the variable. So, 2 pi over p1 minus 2 pi over p2 multiplied by s is equal to, yeah, you guessed it, it's 2 pi. Okay, that's what we want to solve for here. Now, let's go like this. We can also do one more thing, all right? We can simplify by getting rid of these 2 pi's here. We've got a 2 pi on all of these terms, so we can take that out entirely. We can go like this. 1 over p1, Horizon Psi. Welcome aboard, my friend. And welcome everybody who was just watching Horizon Psi. Horizon Psi, how are you, my man? How goes it? If you guys go to Horizon Psi's channel, you'll also see a little twitch.edu thing at the front, which means, you guessed it, that he's also part of Twitch.edu. He actually kind of runs Twitch.edu. It's pretty cool. He's way better at any of us than this, and he's way smarter than all of us too. But again, he's part of this whole Twitch.edu initiative, trying to push science education, not even just science, not even just STEM, trying to push education on you folks, because that's what you need. You need to learn every minute of every day. If you're not learning, then you're not doing anything. I just explained this. Serpent, you're here too. Guys, Serpent is also part of Twitch.edu, okay? Guys, I just explained this earlier, okay? It's relatively straightforward. If you're doing something, you're inherently learning, okay? Which means that if you're not learning, then you're not doing anything. I know that there's probably like 40 or 50 loopholes with that logic, but just go with it, all right? If you're not doing anything, then you're not, if you're not learning, then you're not doing anything, okay? So you always have to be learning. So if it's not me, go watch Horizon Psi, go watch Serpent, okay? They do some cool things. That's the whole point, Barrick. The whole point is that all you guys have to do is just sit down. You guys just have to sit down, and everybody at Twitch.edu will be like, oh, okay, you can learn from here. Oh, you can learn from here. You can learn from here. That's the whole point. Okay, that's absolutely the whole point. The whole point is for you guys to continue to learn new things all the time, okay? And I guess I should start from the beginning. I'm not going to start over from the beginning, but I'll show all of you new folks exactly what we've been working on, okay? We've got this problem. We've got this problem where you have one planet right here, and you've got another planet right here. And at some time, life is way too short. Can I has like button? What? What? It's a good chain of smarts? Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Serpent, I guess you're next, man. So we've got this case where there are 2 planets. These 2 planets at some time are aligned, exactly correct. But the thing is, and actually, if you guys were watching Horizon Psi, you may have seen this relationship right here on his stream, okay? Aw, thank you, Serpent, appreciate it. You guys may have seen this relationship, where the period of the orbit squared is proportional to the semi-major axis of the orbit cubed. You guys may have seen that if you were just over in Horizon Psi's channel. But here's the thing though, these 2 planets have different semi-major axes, so they have different periods. Here's the problem. When these planets rotate around the central body, they will be at different locations when they come back, right? And that's kind of a problem. That's not a good thing at all. We want to determine, well, it's not necessarily a good or bad thing. The universe is not evil. It can be chaotic at times, but nothing about the universe is evil, right? It just happens. It's science.
But we want to determine at what point will these two planets be realigned again, and it's called a synodic period, okay? Nice, Mr. Bladley. Mr. Bladley? What? Yeah, sure. Guys, thank you all for the follows. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Nelthnor. Thank you, Apple Jackson. Thank you, Bradley Wright. Keep learning, guys. Keep rocking on. Women are not evil. Women are not evil. So we're looking for this. We're looking for the total time in between these two passages where the planets will come back to the same location again. And then the way we can determine this, and again, I have a definition of the synodic period. Gilmanac, thank you, and welcome aboard. The synodic period is the time between successive traversals of one orbiting object in inertial space viewed by another orbiting object. And I know that's kind of a weird definition, but I try to break things down on an engineering level as technically low as I can get it, just because. Oh, there was an info to Nyx Saga out there too. Yeah, Nyx is another. She streams Scholarly Corner every Sunday, and she does biology and a lot of other really cool things. It's awesome. Nyx, thank you for the host. I was just talking about you. Anyway, yeah, so Nyx is another one that streams some awesome biology content, and she has guest speakers come on and talk about cool things. And I got the chance to be one of those guest speakers, and it was a lot of fun. And I think Horizon Sai has done it as well. A lot of cool stuff. Eric, just scroll up. Her name is Nyx Saga. But anyway, again, we're all part of the Twitch EDU initiative. We're trying to actively push learning and cool things on you guys every day of the week. So anyway, we need to determine when these two planets realign with each other again, because right now they're not aligned anymore. We want them to be aligned. So let's go ahead and figure that out. We know that we can use something called Skylius. Thank you for the host. Again, Skylius is another one. And thank you for all the information, Sai, throwing those out there. Skylius is another one that supports the Twitch EDU initiative, and she does some awesome astronomy streams too, so go check her out. We're all out here just trying to make sure you guys are actively learning every day of the week. That's the whole plan. So every single person that's part of the Twitch EDU initiative, you're going to get some awesome content out of them. Okay, so Skylius, Nyx Saga, Serpent, Horizon, they're all awesome. Okay, they're all awesome people. They're awesome streamers, and they're awesome people, too. That'd be pretty cool. Historical political EDU streamers? I don't know. Horizon, are you still here? Or Serpent, or anybody? Do we have anybody doing... Oh, there is somebody that was doing a history stream, right? I can't remember his name, but there is somebody that was doing a history stream. There absolutely was. So anyway, we need to determine when these two planets are realigned, because right now they're not aligned anymore, and we want them to be aligned. So let's do that. We have what's called an angular rate in mathematics, which is just a degree value, a certain angle over a certain period of time. And we determined the two angular rates for the inner planet and the outer planet. The inner planet angular rate can be written as this. It takes the period of the planet, or the orbital period, to traverse 2 pi radians. That's just the angular rate, radians per second or radians per some time value. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be radians. It has to be an angle. Radians are mathematically friendly though, and that's why I'm going to be using them. And then omega 2, this is not a W, it's an omega, is equal to 2 pi radians. That's the amount that it traverses angularly in the period of that orbit, of that planet's period. Wow, I butchered that one. In the time of that... Moving on. So, we know also the actual angular values. If we assume that this is T0 here, and from this reference line, both planets have exactly 0 degrees. They're at 0 degrees. Then we know that Alpha 1, the inner planet, is the angular rate of that inner planet multiplied by time, as well as Alpha 2, the angular rate of the outer planet multiplied by time. It's that straightforward. And both of these alpha angles are just going to be in units of radian, because you're taking radians by second and you're multiplying it by seconds, okay? Doing history of aviation. That is cool. Yeah, thank you, Serpent. I forgot his name. I completely forgot his name. Horizon, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Guys, again, Horizon Sai is kind of like the spearhead of Twitch EDU, and he's always actively trying to get more people involved, and he's doing some really awesome things. So thank you, Horizon Sai, for everything you do, as always. Thank you is really not enough for getting together such a wonderful group of people like this. So, we want to know, and we also know that the inner planet is rotating faster than the outer planet, just because of this relationship right here. If your semi-major axis is smaller, your period is going to be smaller, which means that you're traversing your period at a quicker rate. So we know this, Alpha 1 will grow quicker than Alpha 2, and what we want to find out is how long it will take for this first planet to lap the other planet. You can imagine that the lapping might not occur right here, but the first planet might lap the second planet out here, or out here. You never really know where the first planet will lap the second planet, but that's what we're trying to remember. It should just be, oh, maybe Discord EDU? There we go, it's Discord EDU. So that's a Discord link to Twitch EDU. And I need to update that. I really do need to update that. Anyway, we need to find out when Alpha 1 laps Alpha 2 angularly, okay? And the relationship for that is we need to determine the time when Alpha 1 minus Alpha 2, this difference is 2 pi, right? Because that means Alpha 1 will have completed another successful rotation compared to Alpha 1. Pretty straight, oh, compared to Alpha 2, sorry. Pretty straightforward though, right? So, let's go like this. So we have that relationship. We've got all these awesome equations now. All we have to do is just kind of mash them all together, which is what we're doing. So, we know that Alpha 1 minus Alpha 2 must equal 2 pi. That's the definition of one passing, or one synodic period. We also know that Alpha 1 is equal to the angular rate of the first planet multiplied by time. And Alpha 2 is equal to the angular rate of the second planet multiplied by time. So, 2 pi over P1 is omega 1. We just derived that earlier. 2 pi over P2 is omega 2. We also just derived that earlier. Okay? Yeah, I think he's already irregular. So, that relationship must be 2 pi, okay? We can do a few things. We can take this t out, all right? We can factor out that t, or that time parameter, and then we have this equation right here. 2 pi over P1 minus 2 pi over P2 multiplied by time is equal to 2 pi. We're going to call this t here s. We're just going to change it to just s, okay? And this is kind of not clear having this just word in here, so I'm going to get rid of it. We're going to call it s, okay? Yeah. And s is obviously going to be units in seconds because it's the same exact equation. I'm just calling the variable something else. Okay, that's all I'm doing there. May I be an irregular? Sure, go for it. You can be an irregular. So we've got this now. Now we're at a point now where we can actually factor out these 2 pi parameters because they show up everywhere. So let's just get rid of them entirely. 1 over P1 minus 1 over P2 multiplied. Of course it's 42. Of course that's the meaning of life. Multiplied by s is equal to 1, okay? Logically, to make sure that we have access to these variables, we can just divide by s. It just kind of makes sense to do that. So let's go ahead and do that, okay? 1 over s is equal to 1 over P1 minus 1 over P2, where P1 is less than P2 because it's the inner planet, okay? Let's go ahead and box this sucker because it's a really awesome equation that we're about to use for a lot of really handy calculations. Equation for synodic period. Oh. For synodic period. Boom. We did it. Alright, so we've got this equation right here that requires the period of the first orbit, the period of the second orbit, and the output of this will be the synodic period of those two planets, okay? And obviously, to make things a bit simpler, you can put this in terms of just, like, if you just want to put it in terms of S, for example, you can just go like this. S is equal to 1 over P1 minus 1 over P2. That's just as logical. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way either, okay? We're going to do something really cool here, okay? So let's go ahead and do an example problem here. Good, nice straight line. Trying to find inner meanings? Well, go find inner meanings by yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Just go ahead and do it on your own. Let's go ahead and do an example, okay? Example. Okay, Earth is at 1 AU, 1 astronomical unit. Mars. That was pretty drastic how I just said Mars. Mars is at approximately 1.52 astronomical units. All right, what this means is basically you have the sun here, right? Because the sun is just an X in the sky. You've got the sun here. Okay, you've got the sun here. 1 AU out, you have 1.0. You've got the Earth. And then right here, another 0.52. You've got Mars. Okay, that's how far away the planet is. 1.52 AU from the center of the sun. And I forget the astronomical symbol for Mars. I'm just going to put an M for Mars. What's the synodic period of these two planets? What's the synodic period of these two planets? Well, okay, I'll show you, okay? I'll show you what they are. It's relatively straightforward. We've got this. We've got P1. We also know this. It's about 42. You were just all about enlightenment, man. That's cool. It's cool with me. We have this. P is proportional. P squared is proportional to A cubed. Okay? Yes. Drop bear. That is exactly it. You're right. You are right. I think it's this. I thought it was like an extra. No. Maybe it's just that. Oh, I'm going to have to erase everything, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. Well, I'm going to add a little thing. A little top to it. Now, P squared is proportional to A cubed. Relatively straightforward. Now, if this is in the proper units, though, if we put P in years, we can actually use an equal sign. And if this is AU, P squared is AU. Thank you. Welcome aboard. We can actually use an equal sign, and these two will be equal to each other if semi-major axis is in terms of AU and if P is in terms of years. Okay, that's the requirement for those two to be equal. So we can actually go like this: period in years is equal to the semi-major axis in AU to the power of 3/2. Okay, makes sense. For example, the period of Earth is equal to 1.0 astronomical units to the power of 3/2, or 1 year. What do you know? Earth's orbit is 1 year. So you guys kind of see where this is coming from here. You put these in terms of units that are just just Earth related. Drop bear, welcome aboard, my friend. And then all of a sudden you can reference everything with respect to the year, with respect to the Earth, right? AU is how far the Earth is away from the sun. A year is the period of the Earth. So if you just use Earth units, so we'll call these Earth units. If you just use Earth units, you can use this equals sign, okay? But anyway, I'm not going to worry about that calculation quite yet. We're not there. So we have this. Again, the synodic period of 2 planets is equal to 1 over P1 minus 1 over P2, where P1 is less than P2. Obviously, therefore, P1 is equal to the period of the Earth, and P2 is equal to period of Mars, the orbital period of Mars. Makes sense, right? Because the period of Earth is less than the period of Mars because it's got a greater semi-major axis. Okay. Well, not only. I use JSON units often, but I don't use them all the time. So, we've got this now. Now we know the synodic period of Mars with respect to Earth is equal to 1 over the period of the Earth minus 1 over the period of Mars. We also know that that's equal to 1 over, and this is also just this. I'm going to make this a little bit simpler on myself. 1 over P1 minus, 1 over period of Earth minus the inverse of the period of Mars to the power of -1. This is the same exact mathematical, they're the same mathematically, it's just a different notation. And then we also know this. The synodic period of Mars with respect to Earth is equal to 1 over the semi-major axis of Earth to the power of 3/2 minus 1 over the semi-major axis of Mars to the power of 3/2. Pretty straightforward. Let's grab a calculator and let's do some math here and let's try to figure this out. So we've got this now. Synodic period of Mars with respect to Earth is equal to 1 over 1.0 to the -3/2 minus 1 over, not -3/2, that's just regular 3/2, minus 1 over 1.52 to the 3/2. Now you can imagine this is just 1. So synodic period is equal to 1 minus 1 over the -1. 1 over 1.52 to the 3/2. Okay? So this is the equation that we have to solve. And this will give us the synodic period of Mars with respect to Earth in years. Because again, I'm using years as the units. So let's find this out. So we've got some math to do. Oh, I can't even do powers on here? What? Standard, scientific. What is this? Oh, okay. I can. Never mind, we're good. Okay, clear. Earth years, Earth years. Earth years. We're doing everything with respect to the Earth. Everything with respect to the Earth. What's up, King Crab? We're doing everything with respect to the Earth right now. So we've got this. Let's do like 1 divided by 1.52 to the power of 1.5, which is equivalent to 3/2. 1.5 is 3/2. Is equal to that. 1 minus, do I have an answer? No, I don't. 1, okay, really? I don't have that? Really? That's just absurd. 1 divided by 1.52 to the power of 1.5. 0.533623. 1 minus 0.533623 is 0.46 0.46377. And then we need to do 1 divided by that. 1 divided by 0.466 is equal to 2.145, and that's all I'm going to take it. 2.146 years. Okay, so, whoa. So, the synodic period of Mars with respect to Earth is 2.146 years. That means that every 2.146 years, Mars and Earth will realign with each other where they were 2.146 years ago. Okay, that's what that means. You guys may have heard the saying for Mars and Earth, it's 2 years, 2 months. For the transfer window to get from Earth to Mars, it's approximately 2 years, 2 months. And this is where that comes from. It's now it's not exactly 2 years, 2 months. But that's approximately when the transfer window opens up to send more payload to Mars in the most efficient manner. This is how it works. We needed to calculate the synodic period to find that out. And again, this is the synodic period. Make sense? You guys get it? Hopefully. Right? It's relatively straightforward. Easy stuff. Okay, so that's how to use the synodic period equation. Now, another line, because I like my lines. So that's how to use the synodic period equation. Let's do another. Guys, name 2 planets. Name 2 planets and we'll calculate the synodic period in between them. Name any 2 planets in the solar system and we'll calculate the synodic period. Go for it. I really don't care which 2. Just don't make them the same planet because the answer is infinity and that would be relatively difficult. Eve and Duna? Oh my goodness. Kelly. I'll do Kelly first because Kelly gave a reasonable answer. So we'll do Neptune and Pluto. Oh, sorry, Neptune and Uranus. Neptune and Uranus. Synodic period. So let's calculate this. Let's pull up our handy dandy planetary constants paper, which I've got on lockdown because I use it so much. So the people get there and expect a year and 3/4 or so stay, then schedule an orbit trajectory for the return trip. People directly from ground to Mars. Kelly throwing the curveball. Yeah, I know. You can use lunar flybys. That doesn't necessarily change the transfer window too much of the objects, though. Those are pretty set. I mean, the moon can give you somewhat of gravitational assist, but Earth and Mars way overpower the moon's motion with regards to heliocentric velocity. Right, the moon will appear to be oscillating with respect to the sun. With regards to tangential velocity. Yeah, I mean, it'll help with fuel. Well, sometimes it'll help with fuel. Just because you're adding a flyby doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get less fuel. Optimization is a fickle fiend. Okay, so Neptune and Uranus. So let's pull this handy-dandy constants book up. I use this for so many things now. Neptune and Uranus are right here. Okay, so it wouldn't be much difference. Well, it all depends, right? I mean, they calculate these mission designs down to a kilogram of fuel. Okay, so it really all depends on. A kilogram of fuel is a lot more scientific payload that you can send out there. So it all depends, man. Optimization is very fickle, and it's not necessarily always intuitive either. Zabruni, welcome aboard, my friend. It's not always intuitive, and that's the problem with these things. We've got, what, you're not going to tell us, semi-major axis AU. Uranus is 19.218 and Neptune is 30.110. 19.22, 30.11. 19.22 and 30.11. Uranus, Neptune. Okay. AU. I'm talking about getting them there and back. I mean, humans are scientific payload. I think I understand what you're saying, though. Oh, did I just mess that up? Uranus is 19.22, Neptune is 30.11. Nah, I got it. I am silly. You are silly. I understand what you're saying, Bradley. Yeah, so we don't send people to wait. The people get there and expected a year and 3/4. We can do that calculation probably next episode, man. Because to approximate it, you need to know what Hohmann transfer is, and I haven't covered that. And I don't like doing things on, like, I can, but I don't like doing things that I haven't previously covered. Yeah. And I don't necessarily like doing things I haven't covered yet. But maybe I'll do Hohmann transfers next time, and I'll show you guys how Hohmann transfers work. And they're really simple. So we've got these, right? So, yes, he does. Yeah, Bradley, I'll get around to it soon, man. Trust me. Obviously, that's the next logical step to calculate. Okay, how about stay times? We know transfer times, and how about stay times too? Yeah, man, I'll go over all that stuff. Doesn't take the inclined orbit of Uranus into account, does it? Nope, this is assuming circular coplanar orbits. You got it. Synodic periods don't necessarily have definition for inclined and eccentric orbits. It gets a little bit fuzzy. Because, you know, a synodic period is when two planets align directly at the same spot again. And for some planets, that could be millions of years if you calculate if you include eccentricity and inclination and all of the above. So you really can't, there's really no solid definition there, right? So anyway, we know this. Synodic period from Uranus to Neptune, from Uranus to Neptune, Sun. Cool. Oh, actually, it's synodic period of Neptune with respect to Uranus is equal to 1 over, I'm going to change 1 over 19.22 to the 3/2 minus 1 over 30.11 to the 3/2 to the -1. Okay? So this is the equation that we have to solve. So let's go ahead and whip up our calculator. Okay. We've got this. 1 divided by 19.22 to the power of 1.5 minus 1 divided by 30.11 to the power of 1.5. And we get a value for that is 0.00605. Now, can I mouse over and adjust something? No, I can't. So let's go ahead and 0.00605. 1 divided by 0.00605. Oops. 1 divided by 0.00605. 165 years. In 165 years, those two planets will realign again to where they were. But not really, because this is assuming circular and coplanar. If you assume circular and coplanar, that is how long those two planets are required to last, are required to rotate until they realign again. So, in other words, a long time. A very, very long time. If they aligned in our lifetime, you will not see them again. Well, maybe. Maybe we'll develop the technology to live longer. But I don't know. 165 years. The synodic period of Neptune with respect to Uranus is 165 years. A long time, okay? And you can imagine as you get further out into the more exotic planets, this value will even become more extreme. So it gets weirder and weirder and weirder as we go out. It gets really, really weird. Yeah, it gets weird. That's all you need to know. And give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. So, what time is it? It's 8:47. I'm thinking about what I wanted to do next. Because we went over synodic periods and that was good. But I don't know if I want to continue doing this for now, though. Or, wait, which planets are... What do you mean, Sai? Which planets are in or close to this at this time? I don't think I know what you mean. Which planets are in or close to this at this time? Yeah, sorry, I don't know what you mean. Are you saying, I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, about 4 generations of humans. That's how long it's gonna take for these two planets to realign again. Science is weird. Science is really, really weird sometimes. And Neptune and Pluto would even be more extreme. Like, really, really extreme. I mean, Pluto itself, is 39 AU away. 39 to the power of 1.5. Pluto itself has a period of 216 years. Which planets are in and close to this? Oh, lined up in synodic period. I don't know. I'm pretty sure synodic periods are quite exponential. Oh, I did 36. Oh. Okay, fine. I'll fix it. 245 years. Okay. About 245 years. 244. 243. That's how many years Pluto's orbit is. Just Pluto's orbit, okay? That's 7 generations of humans. Science is weird. Have you guys heard of the passing of Saturn? Right? It's like so Saturn's orbit. It's like it's a nice way to represent changes in your life, and that's kind of where the phrase comes from. Like, oh, it's the passing of Saturn for you. The passing of Saturn. So Saturn's orbit is 9.5 AU away. That's 30 years. It's about 30 years. And the whole idea is that, like, the passing of Saturn, living through a passing of Saturn, basically means an entire transformation of your life. Okay? That's what it means. There you go, Meg. You keep trying. Things do take a long time to orbit the Earth, yeah. So the passing of Saturn, the whole idea is that, right, when you're 10 years old, your life will go through an entire transformation by the time you're 40. And it'll go through an entire transformation again by the time you're 70. And you're really only going to see 3 passings of Saturn in your life, okay? You're going to see one when you're very young, you're going to see one when you're mid-age, and you're going to see one when you're really old. And again, the passing of Saturn, right, it's supposed to represent the different phases of your life. It's pretty cool. I know, Kelly. The Earth. It's the only problem is we have a geocentric solar system, obviously. But that's where, if you guys have heard that phrase before, that's what it means. The passing of Saturn. Like, if your passing of Saturn is coming up, that means it's been about 30 years and your life has completely transformed into another different spot. So if you're old enough, go ahead and ask yourself, Kerbonaut, what's up? What's up, Kerbonaut? So if you're old enough to say that you've already been through a passing of Saturn, Go back 30 years into your life when Saturn was at the same location again and ask yourself what's changed about your life. It's pretty cool. It's just a neat little thing. The passing of Saturn. I didn't say that. Don't quote me on it. I mean, I hope you do, of course, but don't quote me on it. Guys, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to mess the entire page up, and then I'm going to post these links online to the same Google Doc that I've been posting everything on. So you guys have access to this material, and you can go ahead and read it in your free time, because I know that's what all of you guys do, of course. That's what I do, so that's what you should be doing. So, let me go ahead and see who is streaming right now. Because I don't think I'm going to be streaming any longer. I think I want to go do things. I know I said I might do KSP, but I don't think I'm going to be doing KSP. Can you science the astrology? What does that even mean? The passing of Saturn? Yeah, it does sound a little bit painful, man. It does sound a little bit painful. Absolutely, it does. Okay, so let's see. I don't think anybody is streaming, yeah. So, nobody is currently streaming, EDU material. Let's check programming. Let's see who's streaming in programming. Man, just nobody is streaming right now, apparently. I don't know why. Nice, Curvinaut. Nice, man. Alright, well, in that case, I'm probably just gonna end the stream. I know, crazy, right? You can end the stream without hosting somebody. It's wild, I know. Anyway. That's probably what I'm gonna do. Guys, thank you so much for, he's dead to us. Curvinaut, yeah, I'll see you in like a couple years when you're done playing World of Warcraft again. Yeah, guys, I'm probably done here. Again, 8 days. You've got 8, well, now 7. You've got 7 days of me being here before I leave for a month. So, keep counting the days down. And you've got, I'll be sure to try and stream once a day, at least, to keep giving you guys some awesome content. And I will see you guys on the flip side. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Okay, you guys are the whole reason I do this. But keep learning, okay? Keep learning. I can't stress it enough. Wise guy. I don't care if you're already wise guy. Keep learning. Okay? I'll see you at the next passing of Saturn. I really hope it's before the next passing of Saturn. I'm coming up in like 7 years on my first passing of Saturn. I'm excited. Guys, go ahead and ask yourself, where were you at the last passing of Saturn? Where were you with your life, okay? And see, it's cool. It's cool to see what's changed since then in your life. Guys, have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. It was a lot of fun. We'll be doing some awesome things later. Don't worry. It's going to keep getting more and more awesome. So, stay tuned. Again, Twitch EDU. Twitch EDU. Twitch EDU. Let me say it one more time. Twitch EDU. Okay? Believe it or not, there's a whole group of people out here that are trying to push awesome content on you like this. So, Twitch EDU. Serpent's one of them. Serpent's one of them. I pretend to program, but he actually programs. Oh! News! News! Guys, have you ever asked yourself, man, why is it so difficult to keep track of launch schedules and when everybody is launching rockets in real life? Do you find your streamers also asking similar questions? When's the next rocket launch? I don't know. And are you just yearning to always know all the time, but you can't because your streaming schedule is so incredibly busy? But then, well, let me tell you, I have a solution for you. I have a solution for you. Let me show you what that solution is real quick, okay? Whoa, big me. And if you're just so busy, on Twitch that you just can't leave Twitch and you wish there was a solution on Twitch, well, guess what? There's a solution, okay? The solution is called Upcoming Rocket Launches, Jason M. Everett's Launch Schedule Planner. officially accepted by Twitch as one of the extensions that you can now download. Okay, this little, it's a tiny little extension, but this extension will provide you with all of the upcoming launch information about different things. Like in 2 hours, there's a Soyuz launch. Did you know that? I didn't, but now I know. Okay, but wait, no, there's no more. That's it. That's it. That's all you get. Sorry, but if you want something cool like this, you can now download it. And let me show you how to do that real quick. Okay, so let's go to my dashboard. Yes, it was officially accepted by Twitch. Extensions. And all you would have to do is go in here and type in launch. I guess it's a little bit more complex than that. Oh, it doesn't show up if I already have it. Never mind. Okay, let me try this one more time. I could have sworn I got it accepted, so... Can I help you with my homework? Not tonight, dude, son. Not tonight. Maybe another night, man. Go ahead and just type in launch schedule panel. Just go ahead and type it in to your Twitch extensions, okay? Kill them with clicks. Yeah. Go ahead and just type in launch schedule panel, install it, and check this out. This is how simple it is to configure. All you have to do is hit configure, and boom! There's nothing to configure, okay? Why do I have a Hotmail email address? I don't know. I just do it. I just do it, okay? I just have Hotmail. What's the big deal? Outlook, because Windows and Outlook is a great email tool. Windows is great for email, I'll tell you that. And you don't even have to configure anything. Look, all you have to do is you need to go to there, you need to enable it, and then all you have to do is refresh your channel page, and then all of a sudden, well, I need to add the extension, of course. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll show you guys how to do all this cool stuff. So let's go ahead and add the extension. Activate on extension panel 1. Done. Okay, and boom! You have all the information you would ever want about upcoming rocket launches right here on your Twitch page, okay? So go ahead and download it, okay? Mr. Bradley, I hope you know that that was a joke, right? I don't care if you guys download this or not. Bradley, I'm not advertising this. I actually did this on stream. Everybody helped. All of you guys in chat that helped with this, thank you so much for helping. No, this was an active project that we were working on stream for quite... Ooh, my tea is ready. That we were working on stream for quite a while, and the product was awesome. No, don't tell... I don't care about advertising. That was all just kind of a joke. Seriously, you don't have to do that. I don't care if not anybody downloads this. That's cool, because then I just have my extension. That's fine. No. All in all, yes, I coded this. All in all, thank you everybody who helped set up this extension. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we finally got it to work. No, I don't care if you tell people, man. So, it's our extension, yes. Okay? It is our extension. Yeah, I really don't care, okay? I really don't care if you guys do it or not. Bougie, I'm just finishing! Oh, I'm so sorry, Bougie. I'm just finishing. Bougie, my launch schedule panel is now officially on, Twitch, okay? You can download this as an extension now, so thank you. Bougie is one of the guys that actually helped do this, okay? Bougie's actually one of the guys that helped to do this. And believe it or not, he sometimes does this thing where he goes on Twitch and he shows everybody what he's doing, and he's really entertaining. But it's online, guys. It's really cool, okay? Go check it out. If you guys want other links, by the way, space or launchlibrary.net is the API that I'm using to get all this information. If you just go to their website, you can actually you can actually get all this stuff from right here. Okay, he's a competitive Warcraft 2 player. Yes, he is. you can actually get this stuff right here, okay? And then Bradley said there's another website, Spaceflight 101. Space News and Beyond. I'm assuming it's in here somewhere. There you go. Here's another one. And if you want another one, go to my website. And also on stream, we had set this up in the past, okay? Yes, you are entertaining, Buji. It's awesome watching you. You can even just go to my website, and you also have all of the upcoming launch information on my website, okay? There's multiple different ways for you guys to access this information. Multiple different ways. But yeah, again, you can access this from, if you want to do it from here, Spaceflight 101, you can. If you want to do it from Launch Library, you can. If you want to do it from Launch Schedule, you can. If you want to do it from the extension panel, now you can, okay? There's so many different ways to figure all of this stuff out, man, okay? There you go, Bradley. T-shirt and mugs for sale? Yeah, not yet. Not yet. Anyway, guys, I am going to hand it off to somebody who it looks like is playing some Ark right now. Yeah, I'm going to hand it off to Classy because she's cool. Anyway, keep learning, guys. Keep learning, okay? Always keep learning. Alright, let's go say hi to Classy. She's cool. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. It was a lot of fun, and I will see you all later.